TIFU calling the police. Now I'm waiting to see TIFU. By raging so loudly the neighbor called the police. Ha 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 ha, truth. Seriously though, people get wild on these video games nowadays. XD, it's madness. We have a kid who keeps forgetting he is supposed to be pretending he is paying attention in Zoom school. Then there's this crazy outburst of excited hollering, and then we all know he is over there playing with everyone else who's pretending to pay attention in Zoom school, and that's when he realizes he unmuted the wrong mic. This might have ended up on a TIFU post, but you did the right thing. I'd rather have a slightly embarrassing situation than a kid really being in trouble and doing nothing. Imagine hearing of murder/abduction you could have stopped, but chose to do nothing. Reminds me about an experience when I delivered papers. When I did my paper route, there was this one house that looked fairly normal. Everything looked like it was mostly in shape. The owners had left a bird's nest on the doorframe however, which was a little odd in my opinion, but nothing too crazy. They had an old car, which is normal, but the first and last time I asked him about collection he said he couldn't even pay the bills, so he didn't wanna pay. One day while I was delivering papers like usual, I noticed the dude and his wife open the trunk of their car, carry what seemed to be an unconscious blonde girl, looked maybe around 20 or so, out of the vehicle, and drag her into their garage and close the door. I stood there, so confused about what I saw. Was I going crazy? Did they actually just drag a body out to their car? Not wanting to jump to conclusions, I didn't call the cops. I just wanted to finish my delivery for the day and go home. I kept a mental note of the house number however, and I finished my route and went home. Once I got home I could not stop thinking about that situation. I had no clue why I didn't decide to call the cops there and then, but I called anyways. Now that I was home and done delivering, I told them what I saw, and when they hung up, they went to the house, and I got a call back from them later saying the girl there was fine. Never told me what happened, but I assume she might have been blackout drunk or something. The person on the phone told me that, although the girl was fine, I should always call when it happens in case it was a serious scenario. Safe to say, I'm not gonna hesitate next time I witness something that sketchy. The real shady bit about that is why would they put her in the trunk? Like, I understand bringing home a possibly teenage or 20-year-old who got way too drunk home and carrying a body from like the backseat of your vehicle to the house, but from the trunk? In what scenario is that okay or not sketchy? Edit. After a reading I realized it sounded like I was yelling at you. I wasn't. I was more shocked by the idiocy of the people bringing home a girl in the trunk. Honestly had the almost exact experience a couple years ago. Turned out a neighbor's son fell asleep in the car in the ride home and had a night terror when they tried to wake him to go inside. We tried to investigate ourselves as they were outside when we heard it, but they kind of ignored us and just went inside. That's when we called the police. Similar ending. 10/10ths would call the police again in a heartbeat. Children being tickled of squabbling with each other. I always stop and have that should I call the cops moment. Especially when there's someone shrieking no. But if it is clearly followed by laughter or a parent's break it up voice, then everything is fine. So when abducting someone have a recorded break it up track playing. I called the cops because I saw a man hanging from a building. Turned out to be firefighters training. They'd gone around the building to simulate them arriving, and I didn't see them because I was on the opposite side of the street, on a lane heading towards the freeway. I think you did the right thing. You never know what's actually happening. Man, I heard this woman screaming absolute bloody murder outside on a terribly snowy day, but I just couldn't see her. Was at friend's place. Unfamiliar area. Went outside. It was bone-chilling noises. I thought someone was being stabbed, and I heard gurgling. That will haunt me for the rest of my life, followed by nothing. Called police. Dude showed up without a jacket, so I tried to just explain really fast outside, shivering from the noise and the cold, and there was no one anywhere, not in the alleyways, the other balconies, and I heard it outside clearly. Then 4 teenagers come down a fire escape from their weird room, in trance on an upper floor giggling, and one is just screaming. For whatever reason, I'm curious enough to just go over and ask myself, yo, were you guys just out here yelling They said they had a snowball fight a bit earlier. I still wonder. Because it doesn't sound like a snowball fight. Kept checking the papers. Nothing. I got back to my friend's place again a few months later, and it was raining like crazy. And I complained about it. Then suddenly there was no rain, and I'm getting weird looks from our company. I've never been so confused about a location in my life. There must have been a gas leak or something at that slum dump. Or it was just haunted by someone who got stabbed in the boiler room. Just Jerla things. Damn, that's weird af. No way that was the snowball fight if there was gurgling. Let alone screams like that. I had the police called on me for playing Terminator 2 too loudly on the TV. Plenty of gunshots, etc. Police thought it was amusing. Duck and campers. Found him. Did you guys see in the news what happened in Phoenix recently? A couple was loudly playing video games at night and apartment neighbor called the police twice. Gamer answers door with gun pointed down. Bends to put it down when asked. Then is shot 3 times on the back by cop. Sad story. Listen to the 911 call. It's crazy. Also, this guy had been a ding-dong ditch victim for weeks. He was hoping to catch the kids and scare them, so he'd knock it off. The cops knocked and then stood to the side, so he couldn't see them through the peephole. Not excusing his death, but hoping to scare little kids or silly teens by holding a gun. Not okay either. Oddly enough, I don't think this is a TIFU at all, but still funny. You did the right thing. This is literally how Ryan Whitaker was killed. Except Ryan Whitaker opened the door with a gun in his hand. I'm not saying he should have been killed, but it's not literally the same thing. I once heard a lady scream loudly in her balcony, "He'll murder me, please help etc," and saw many people have gone out of their balconies trying to see where it came from. She kept screaming for more than 10 minutes, and during that my sister called the cops, and they said that they cannot send anyone unless it was her that asked for help. Even though she //is asking for help. No one came and she kept screaming for a while. I felt helpless, and even months later I still randomly think of what she's going through. You did the right thing. I don't think this was a duck up by any means. Police should take every call seriously, and I'm glad they did so in your area. I wish they do so everywhere. What? Where was that? I'm surprised this even happened. If I'm that kid, no way I answer the door. Today you ducked up by hearing that bad of a racket, especially the no, and waiting 20 freaking minutes to call the cops. Now you did the right thing in the moment, dude. Seriously, you didn't duck up. Someone screaming at their computer game ducked up. I'd be afraid of having a cop shoot someone, or a pet over these false alarms. Happens more than you think. Well, that doesn't happen in Norway, where Op is from. This reminds me so much of Tommy in it. You did nothing wrong. You heard a child screaming, and you called the police. That was the right thing to do. Never doubt yourself //. What if it's only //. You really don't want to take a chance that there really is something wrong and ignore it, only to read about a horrible instance that happened there in the newspaper that you could have prevented. This made me smile, and I would give you an award. But in 2020, no one gets an award for calling the police. You didn't duck up. You did the right thing. Props to you. No harm, no foul. Kids need to stop screaming bloody murder for dumb shit. You obviously don't play video games. Wholesome TIFU. You did the right thing. That gamer cold been in serious trouble for all you knew. And now he knows that if he's yelling like he's in real danger while playing a game, it could end with the police showing up at his door because a neighbor heard that and got worried. Just read the headline. Duh. Hilarious. But you did not up. You did the right thing. What if the boy was actually in danger? Good job. I see no fool, lol. I see a learning experience for the gamer and a good laugh for everyone else. Sorry, I don't see that as a foo. Next time it could be something. You unknowingly swatted him, lol, but I don't blame you. He should have known to keep the window closed. Hey, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.